Hello students and welcome to BioBytes. In today's video, we're going to look at life processes, chapter 6 of CBSE biology. So this video is going to be a brief introduction to life processes, and in the following videos, I'll be elaborating on more concepts in the chapter. So this particular chapter discusses 4 basic life processes, namely nutrition, respiration, transport, and excretion. Before going into these 4 in detail, let's look at what exactly life processes are. So, any process that helps maintain a living organism, basically keeping it alive is called a life process. So, this requires external energy, and how an organism obtains this external energy is through nutrition. So when we look at the definition of nutrition, it is the process of transfer of an external food source to the inside of an organism. Basically, transferring food which is in the outside to the inside of a body. So what source is the food going to be made up of? The answer is carbon. So you may ask, why are food sources made up of carbon? This is because most living forms on Earth are also made up of carbon. A good indication of this is when you burn living organisms, they leave behind a black residue. This is an indication that carbon is present in it. So it makes sense that when living organisms, namely plants, animals, human beings, are predominantly carbon-based, it makes sense that the food that we consume is also made up of carbon. Now let's move on to the next life process, which is respiration. So when we are ingesting food into our body and helping this along with energy, this food, in order to be used by the particular organism, needs to be broken down into smaller molecules so that it may be distributed. There are a set of chemical reactions which help in this process. They are called redox reactions or reduction oxidation reactions. These are the specific set of reactions which are going to help or build up biomolecules in our body. So when we define respiration, it is the process of taking in oxygen and using it to break down food for cellular needs, because the basis of redox reaction is the gas oxygen. Next, we're going to move on to the life process, which is transport. So when we look at transport of substances throughout the body, we have to do a comparison between how this differs in single cellular organisms and multicellular organisms. So single cellular organisms take up food and oxygen through the process of diffusion because their entire body is in contact with the environment, and this process becomes very easy. In the case of multicellular organisms, this process becomes a little complicated because they have evolved to complex body structures. So they have specialized organs, to take up food and gases, namely digestive systems, respiratory systems, etc. So the need for a transport system in multicellular organisms comes into play, and this particular system carries around food and oxygen from one part of the body to another. When we take the example of human beings, the circulatory system, which is made up of the heart, the capillaries, the arteries, veins, particularly helps in transporting substances around the body. Lastly, we come to the life process, that is excretion. So we have seen in the previous slides that food is being consumed through nutrition and it is being broken down with the help of energy and oxygen, where respiration comes into play, and the transport systems help transport the digested food particles across the body. Now, as a result of breakdown of these food particles, certain harmful byproducts form in the body. So these byproducts cannot be stored in the organism for a long period of time, otherwise they will cause permanent damage. In the case of single cellular organisms, the same process of diffusion can easily remove waste from the body. But in the case of multicellular organisms, specialized excretory tissues are present which remove these waste products. So when we define excretion, we can say it is the removal of waste products from the body. So when we take the example of human beings, the specialized excretory tissue that is present in our body are called the kidneys. With that, students, we have come to the end of the video. So please make sure you like this video. Comment down below what other topics you would like me to cover, and don't forget to subscribe. Before you go, in the description box of the video, I have attached a free test which you can take to summarize the concepts learned.